Hey, Ober Sports, Jacob Ober here. In this video, I'm going to analyze and break down 2018 Milwaukee Brewers pitching options in free agency and the trade market. So the Brewers are obviously going to probably compete this season, and one area that they need to upgrade in order to ensure that they can compete and actually make the playoffs this season is the pitching staff. And there's a lot of free agent pitchers out on the market there, like Jake Arrieta and Lance Lynn, and there's a lot of guys out there that are up for trade, such as Danny Salazar or Chris Archer. So I'm gonna give you my 4 best options for the Brewers, what I think the Brewers should do, and I'll break down the statistics for you and show you what I think the Brewers should go for this offseason. So I've got some numbers here in front of me. One of the big names being connected with the Brewers is Alex Cobb of the Tampa Bay Rays. He's a free agent. He has a career 48 and 35 win-loss. He has a 3.50 ERA, a 3.68 FIP, and last season he was 12-10 with a 3.66 ERA, a 4.19 FIP, and he started 29 games. I have a lot of concern about Alex Cobb and his health because he has never pitched over 200 innings in a season, and he has never started over 30 games in a season. Other than that, I love him. I think he's a great pitcher, but I mean, it's the fact that he can't stay healthy that gets me, and I'm just not sold on him. I think he's the most likely option for the Brewers at this point. I think that the Brewers are really trying to go after him, but with his health, I mean, if he's able to start 30 games next season, that'd be great. And his 29 games started last season was the highest mark of his career. So that shows me that he's moving in the right direction. But I still have my concerns. I'm not sold on Cobb. I think that we could do better, but overall, if we get him, I wouldn't be mad. I'd give it a chance for sure. Another option, Jake Arrieta. Jake Arrieta has a career 88-56 win-loss, a 3.57 ERA, a 3.64 FIP. He won the Cy Young in 2015. He was an All-Star in 2016. Last season, he was 14-10 with a 3.53 ERA and a 4.16 FIP. He's a very, very good pitcher. Obviously, I have my worries about him too, though, because not only have I seen his velocity drop the past season, there was a lot of talk about that last season where his fastball lost a lot of its luster. I'm also concerned about his asking price with Yu Darvish signing such a big deal. I'm concerned that Jake Arrieta is going to try and have a deal similar to that, and I don't want to pay that much for a guy he might be on the downturn of his career at this point. I don't know. But Jake Arrieta, obviously, he could definitely help us this season, but at the same time, are we all in on this season? Is this the season we want to go for the World Series? I don't think so. I don't know. And Jake Arrieta, if we think that he can keep up a high level of pitching for the next 3 to 4 years, then sure, go for it. But if we think that he's on the downturn of his career, I don't know if I like it. It'd be great to get him, and I'd certainly be for it if we did, but I have my concerns there as well. Moving down on the list, Chris Archer, 51-63 win-loss, a 3.63 ERA, and a 3.46 FIP in his career. He's a 2-time All-Star, 2014 and 2017. Last season he was 10-12 with a 4.07 ERA, 3.40 FIP, and 249 Ks. Don't let that ERA fool you about Archer. Archer is a very, very unlucky pitcher, and that's shown by his career FIP and his FIP last season, which was astronomically lower than his actual ERA, which FIP is basically, if you don't know, it's a statistic that measures a pitcher's, pretty much it's the pitcher's ERA, except you take out like all the lucky plays, like a line drive that is caught, that would be a base hit. A bloop single that falls, that would be an out, so he has pitched 200 innings in each of the last 3 years, and started 30 games in each of the last 4 years. I have no concern about his health. The Brewers would have to give up a lot of talent to get him, though. That's where I want to pump the brakes a little bit, because I mean, if we got Chris Archer, we would probably have to give up guys like Corbin Burns and Keston Hiyer, and those are 2 of our top prospects. I don't want to give up those guys, even for a guy like Chris Archer. And I would love to have Chris Archer. And if we do make this trade, I wouldn't be opposed to it again. I'd be willing to give it a chance, but the Brewers farm system, I feel like I don't want to gut it too soon, you know. I mean, there's some deadline acquisitions that I'd like to make at some point when we're actually ready to compete, you know, and that could be very well be this year. I don't want to sell the whole farm this offseason just for Chris Archer. I'm very high on Chris Archer, but I'm not fully convinced. And the final guy, Lance Lynn, 72-47 win-loss, a 3.38 ERA, a 3.64 FIP. He was an All-Star in 2012. Last season he was 11-8, a 3.43 ERA, and a 4.82 FIP. I think Lance Lynn is the safe bet here. Definitely not the guy I like the most, but a guy who, you know what you're getting with Lance Lynn. And he's been reliable and dependable for the past 4 or 5 seasons for the Cardinals. He's the safe bet. And if I were to rank all of these guys in terms of the safe bet, I think Lance Lynn is the safest bet. Then we have Alex Cobb, Jake Arrieta, and Chris Archer. Excuse me. But overall, though, there are a lot of great options here. These are my top 4 guys that I would want. I think the guy with the highest upside is Chris Archer, and then Jake Arrieta, then Alex Cobb, and then Lance Lynn. I would love to get Chris Archer, guys. I mean, Chris Archer, if I could choose any one of these 4 pitchers to have on my team, I would definitely choose Chris Archer. Chris Archer is under 30 years old. He's got the ace material, in my opinion, and he's a guy who's been very unlucky throughout his career. He's a guy who strikes out 200 to 250 batters a season. He's a great pitcher. He really is, and I really want him on the Brewers. I don't know if I'm willing to sell pretty much the entire farm for him, but if we were able to get him, I'd be thrilled, and I'd be really excited for this season if I'm not already. So, anyways, let me know what you guys think we should do. Should we go out and sign Alex Cobb, or go for Jake Arrieta or Lance Lynn, or should we trade for Chris Archer? Leave your reply in the comment section below. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, guys, if you're new here, and also follow me on Twitter at oversports41512, and I'll see you guys next time.